Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2018 Ori and the Blind Forest All-Skill Tournament. My name is Zick3, and I'm joined here once again by our friend Voligen. How are you doing, Voligen?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. You excited to see this next race coming up?
I am pretty excited.
TheStimon and Pixxel.
Ooh, I like these guys. I'm pretty excited about this. What do we know about them?
So, their PBs are we have little distance between them. This is a lower bracket match in the near division, so the winner has the pleasure of playing against Cheese Lover, and the loser will unfortunately be knocked out of the tournament.
Yeah, that's a shame. We never like to see people go, and unfortunately in this case, with the big PB differential, Pix basically probably thinks this is the end of his tournament life, but he's going to, as he told us before, he is going to try to go down with a fight, and he's going to try to put on a good show for us, so we'll see as we get there. But TheStimon, for his part, really wants to treat this as a race that he can kind of, be proud of. Has had some tough ones, Zick, and he really wants to, turn around his tournament performance a little bit.
Right, yeah, talking to him beforehand, he definitely said he wants to try and get a sub 33-minute race time. But, something to watch out for is TheStimon does say that he hasn't done a lot of practice lately, so we'll see if that comes into play at all during the race.
Yeah, and you see that average race time for TheStimon being a 35:10 and Pixel's time being a 35:14. I wouldn't want to say it's likely at all, but we have seen some occasions in this tournament where someone with a significantly slower PB, just due to the faster runner having a rough time, was able to pull off a victory. I mean, we all watched Wilson versus Oshi, and if we didn't, why didn't you watch that? Go watch it. Holy crap.
Right. I mean, we've already seen one amazing PB today, so I mean, we could see another right now. You never know.
Yeah, certainly not hoping for the spaghetti on either runner's part, of course. Would like both runners to have a good show, would like TheStimon to be able to achieve his goals, and I'd like to see Pixel even maybe pull off a PB. I'm not sure if he is feeling confident enough and in practice enough to do that, but we'll just see how it goes. Of course, you do see the one minor difference between them, the input method being TheStimon on keyboard and mouse, and Pix being the hybrid of controller and KBM. Zick, I believe you play on controller as well. What do you find that is, possibly different about that input method, or maybe you wish you had in the keyboard and mouse method?
There's a couple things that really attribute to it and are solved in that hybrid method usually. For example, shooting the charge flame can be slower on controller. Some things are harder to line up, like the fast stomplish trick, and those sorts of things can be a little easier on the mouse and keyboard, but sometimes going that hybrid route alleviates those pains.
Yeah, and we'll see how Pixel opts to use that as we do get started. TheStimon will be keeping his mouse cursor going the entire run, so he'll have access to all that. But a few minor disadvantages compared to controller even. Swimming, notably, is a little bit more annoying on KBM, but I doubt that will be much of a concern for TheStimon. Mostly, we're going to be looking for good early and mid-game performance from him to set the tone for his run here.
Right, and another advantage playing on keyboard mouse is with that mouse cursor, you get to convey to the audience your anger when missing a trick.
There's we've talked about this before, Zick, but there's two like sounds that you can make in the language of mouse movements. There is, of course, the ooh noise that you can make by circling the mouse frantically, and then there's which is the noise that happens when you just flail the mouse around because you're rather upset.
Hopefully we don't have to see that movement from our runner today. I was about to say either, but we have one controller player. So far, though, really good early game movement. They're both keeping pace with each other, moving out here from Charge Flame.
Yes, TheStimon manages to get that frame-perfect jump out of the above that bramble that allows him to also get on top of the next ledge. So that's pretty nice, but otherwise, they're still neck and neck, and I wouldn't be expecting to see any major differences anytime soon, at least not until, closer to the wall jump tree.
Right now, just, they're managing their health. TheStimon getting that health drop while Pixel's not full, but it's pretty out of the way, so we won't have to worry about dodging that.
He will probably be able to get in, looks like, with 1 HP. Pixxel also probably gonna be able to get in with 1 HP, but a little bit further behind. He got a little bit messed up by the slime damage boosting him backwards instead of forwards, but he is still alive, and that's really what matters.
Right. You know, and there's definitely something to, you know, things that can really mess up and things that runners have to adapt to here in this early game is getting drops from enemies. You know, you can get those random health drops when you're really trying to tightly manage your health at the beginning. That can really, you know, make you have to think about, you know, how you're going to approach your next situation.
Yeah, and there are some, like the one that TheStimon just got off this slime here, and Pixxel got an energy drop. TheStimon's going to be pretty happy with that health drop because he's going to be able to take it and possibly damage boost this wall here of brambles, which deal 2 damage, and he does damage boost it, so that allows him to get through a little faster. Pixxel getting the energy drop, if he had picked that up, he would have had a 1-second animation he would have had to watch, but he skips it, so he doesn't take that time loss and is able to continue along at his same pace. Oh, but ooh.
Missing the level up on the way down on Pixxel's side, so gonna have to work with the experience on the way back up to try and break that bramble.
Yeah, I think he was planning on getting on the way down, judging by the way he reacted.
Right.
It's totally fine either way. It's just a slight difference of how you play that section. Well, we've accomplished the first skill in the game, wall jump, and, well, okay, second, but whatever. No one cares about Spirit Flame.
Stein is a character, so we won't count that.
Yeah, that's right. And TheStimon is picking up the level on the way out, as Pixxel will also be doing. It's nice to get the extra XP from these brambles here on the way out. That's a nice little difference of taking it. Oh boy. Oh,
ooh,
no.
That is a rough death to take early on.
Yeah, it's going to set Pixxel back to the wall jump tree second, and he's going to have to redo this little section of movement. It's not a huge time loss, but not really one you can afford against an opponent like TheStimon.
Luckily, not forgetting to grab the energy on the respawn at wall jump.
Oh, wow. Wow, you're giving me flashbacks now. An unfortunate runner at the beginning of the tournament I'd almost forgotten about. Ugh. I'm not going to name the runner because that's too rude.
Simon going for his save anywhere here, sitting at around 38 experience, so that's a pretty good number to be sitting at.
Yeah, he'll probably take 3 slimes worth of XP in Blackroot Burrows, each one giving 12. That'll set him up very well for his Frankie walk, but he did also accidentally save on the Spirit Wall, so that was kind of funny. Just taking a little bit of 4-second time loss, but compared to Pixxel's death, it's not going to set him behind or anything. Oh man, Pixxel is getting very friendly with some of these brambles, and really probably does not want to do so.
Right, and Pixxel sitting here at, you know, a 32 experience, so going to have to take a little different, you know, route with his slimes going into Blackroot here.
Yeah, he does opt to take magnets, so I'm guessing he'll either do a save and reload at the bottom, or he is confident enough in dodging the slime at the top there. Let's see how that goes as he gets here. TheStimon is opting for the save and reload, so that's a good play by him to manipulate his laser cycles. And Pixxel also doing some pretty good movement. He actually came in here with 1 HP second. That's not a fun situation to be in.
Right, Blackroot can be a very scary section, and, you know, definitely don't want to be at low health for any of this. And TheStimon missing a cycle here on the left. That's going to cost him some time and give Pixxel a chance to catch up.
That's a little bit surprising. He had the save and reload, but I guess it just didn't quite work out for him to actually get the cycle that he wanted. So losing about 8 seconds, that's how long these cycles take, but he should still be totally fine. And Pixxel is coming up behind, did not go for a save and reload at the bottom. Might go for one at the top? Yeah, he will. And so we'll see him get this laser platform cycle. Wow.
Oh, another platform missed by TheStimon. This is giving Pixxel a really good chance to catch up here in Blackroot.
Yeah, this is 8 seconds times 2, and he doesn't seem to have closely watched that Trojan race from earlier.
I was just about to say that.
Reload there. Dude, we're all learning things.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing until last race.
That's actually one of my favorite things about the tournament is that you have this opportunity to see so many different runners and their different play styles and the different things that they learn to do. And you just are constantly learning things. I mean, Zik, you know, you're a very new runner to this game, so surely you've come out with this tournament with having like an accelerated course in Ori speedrun strats.
Right. I feel like I've learned so much just by watching a ton of experienced runners play. And especially when you get two experienced runners up against each other, you start to see some really advanced gameplay going on.
All right, so the two missed cycles for Stimon, unfortunately, setting him back to around a 738 or 740 or dash. Pixxel, it looks like he is intentionally going for the cutscene stack here. So this is a semi-new strategy. Actually came up during the tournament where he will stack a couple cutscenes together, and their unlock effects on your movement will allow him to gain control, as you see here, while the tree animation is still going. Doing some blind movement, but as long as he... Oh, no. Ooh. Well, that is a worst case, as he's about to find out. He got an autosave down here at the bottom.
Oh, that is rough.
Yeah. Ugh.
While he catches up here, we can watch Stimon on the left going for the Frankie Walk and eventually the Death Gauntlet.
Yeah, his frog movement looks really good, and he is able to collect the XP, get his level up, and get in. Pixxel just needs to make his way up back past the laser platform. Wow. That it wasn't even intentional, it's like that. Just keep saying. Oh gosh. These laser platforms do suck though.
Laser platforms.
Oh god, the camera glitch. Oh no, he gets
no.
knocked up again. Please stop. Stimon is deep into Grotto now. Pixxel is going for some damage boost strats and they don't work. Oh no.
That is a rough situation to be stuck in.
Phew. Stimon successfully pulling off the early Grotto cycle. He was practicing this before the race and having a little bit of difficulty with it, but fortunately, I mean, you only get one try in a race, but fortunately this one was a success. So he is moving on into double jump as Pixxel is just having a heck of a time here. You don't really practice for this kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it can be tough, especially in these race settings. You know, nerves can end up getting to you, especially when you make a mistake. But hopefully Pixxel can get back on track and start taking off again.
Yeah, and this is one of the worst mistakes to make too, because it's so awkward to get up out of here. You have tons of practice moving through this area of Blackroot Burrows, but not with free movement. You expect to have the orb slowing you down. And so Pixxel now finally able to make his way out. I really want to see him take a safety save here. He is.
Good.
So he will never have to go back there and do that again.
You have all these skills available to you now, and none of them help you escape that spot.
Oh, man. Meanwhile, on Stimon's side, some rough times with the Grotto skip. Just missing a couple of his attempts. He actually had an 80% success rate with this trick coming into this run. But on this run, I think it took him around 5 or 6 tries to be able to get that. So losing a little bit of time there, it's really not going to make much of a difference, unfortunately, compared to Pixxel's hefty deficit.
Right, and we're seeing Pixxel here start his attempt at the front walk Death Gauntlet back on track. And an excellent start to this segment.
Gonna dive into this poison water and plink away at that slime, make sure it's out of his way, climb up the wall, and not get killed by the Frankie, and no death glide for Pixxel. He does not want you to do any more things that have death in their name compared to the one. While Stimon picks up the water vein, the key to the first dungeon, and the only one that will actually really do. Is it compared to your casual playthrough when you find out that the speedrun only does really one dungeon to any serious extent? What was that?
Whoa, what happened there? I don't even know what just happened there.
I am just absolutely mind blown at the thing that Pixxel just had occur. I don't even know how to describe it. And he also got that weird glitch where you dash diagonally downwards into the crushers. I have no idea still how that happens. I've only seen it once before.
That's new to me. That was something special.
If he had a mouse right now, like if you were a KBM, a full KBM player, he would definitely be mousing that sound. He'd be getting a good dose of that, but unfortunately, all he has to express his displeasure is just continuing to play the game, which really is the greatest form of, pain infliction upon oneself.
Pixxel going for this blind movement here. Really nice movement on the way out. No problems with the poison water at all, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, anytime you see those red flashes of the screen during that blind movement, you start to feel pretty bad. There's at least one Franker Fizzy emote I know that features a frog that, getting the micro ledge to pick up his energy cell, but doesn't really matter too much, doesn't cost any time. And Grotto Skip, first try, not the cleanest, but you're not going to complain when it is a first attempt, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
We've Stimon working his way up the Ginso tree and really not making any major mistakes since those 2 missed cycles in Blackroot Burrows.
Absolutely making short work of the beginning of this game.
And that is really what we would expect from a runner of Stimon's caliber, but especially given his history in the tournament so far, has got to be improving his confidence just a little bit.
Absolutely, and it's always nice to get through that, I usually say getting through Ginso. It's usually a really good, hurdle to get over. That beginning game can be scary, and a lot of runners feel more confident when they have more skills to their disposal.
Yeah, especially Bash really gives you a lot more options, being that skill that allows you to go towards your enemies intentionally rather than having to avoid them. So it makes it a lot more reasonable to get through some of these challenging, obstacle-filled sections of the game coming up. And certainly a lot of runners will feel more confident at that point. A nice 5-cycle mini-boss for Stimon, taking advantage of the scroll wheel shooting available on KBM. We'll see if Pixxel opts to switch to KBM for that particular fight. It is somewhat common for controller runners to do that, just to, get that slight advantage, as controller mashing's a little bit harder. But both runners now trucking along. Pixxel has been able to recover from that BRB shenanery. To put it
Whatever
best.
you want to call that section. But moving along very nicely. And Stimon will be now picking up Bash to move even faster throughout the game.
Yeah, this is where the game really picks up, and he'll be really chugging along and using the Bash skill to redirect all these projectiles. He's going for this non-double Bash setup in this redirect puzzle, which is a pretty good strat. Probably does not lose any time compared to the double bashes. Pixxel is now entering the Ginso tree, so that deficit is probably around 2.5 minutes right now, which is pretty rough, unfortunately, for Pixxel. But he'll just be looking to continue having solid play the rest of the way and not make, any more huge mistakes like the one that he unfortunately had in BRB.
Right, we do still have a lot of game to play, and Pixxel doing something really interesting there on the right, deciding to use the teleporters to climb up this room with the gamers.
Yeah, that's a really fun strat, generally referred to as telehops, and it's pretty difficult to pull off, but Pixxel was actually a vanilla Ori speedrunner, where that trick saved a lot more time because of not having dash. So he's probably pretty used to that from vanilla speedruns, and so he's bringing that to bear here in Definitive Edition. His time invested in Definitive Edition, edition, is actually a lot less. I think I almost said Definitive Addiction, which I guess is maybe a Freudian slip sec.
Oh man, it is really interesting though to see all sorts of different runners bringing all sorts of different strategies to the tournament, whether that be, as we said now, things from the original version, all the way to people doing, the what's 20 seconds route, or doing the Ginso tree escape.
Yeah, and in this case, we won't be seeing either of those things, as both runners will be doing the the bog standard route for most purposes. But right now, we see part of that, TheStimon working on the swamp entry trick, and he is going to be moving this frog using some bashes into this little spiky corridor, and now he's going to lure some frog shots to break this ground. One of them
Whoa.
passes through. Two of them pass
through.
What? Why?
What is happening?
Crap, dude?
Is that 5 in a row?
It was 5 in a row. It took 6 shots for him to break the ground. That is incredible. This frog does sometimes do that because collision detection in this game can be a little bit interesting, but that is still garbage.
Anything can happen in Ori. Just when you think you understand it and everything goes your way, something can just throw you off.
Yeah, and that's like, there's no real way to control that as a player. You can do consistent movement, but that is probably some sort of weird, like, you know, fine-grained, like, pixel alignment thing that is just impossible to directly, you know, control consistently. So, in any case, TheStimon did get through his second shot. Did not pass through the ceiling, which it can also do. Oh, Pixel was attempting to set up the top platform key dupe setup and unfortunately took a death there, and another one leaving Bash. The second one being a lot faster, but not deaths that he really wants to take after all that spaghetti earlier either.
Right. TheStimon's still just going along really quickly here. Moving on to our good friend Ringo here. And gets a beautiful bash off of him.
I just love the drumming sound effect as every frame plays that sound effect of being on the log. It's so good, dude.
The first time I learned this, I was just, I laughed when I heard that. I was like, this is amazing.
I just love that we use frogs for so many different things in this run. Like, for example, just a moment ago, TheStimon bashing off of a frog in the middle of what appeared to be nowhere. And that was actually a very precise cutscene skip that he performed, so nice execution by him on that. Really, again, no major mistakes by TheStimon. He did get held up by the 2 missed cycles in BRB and the 5 shots that phased through the ground. But those 5 phase shots were really not his fault. Nothing he could seriously control himself.
Yeah, the frog's basically an extra skill to Ori.
Yeah, that's our 12th skill, is a frog. Just frog. Instead of being able to throw a grenade, I would like to be able to throw a frog out and use it to bash off.
All the possibilities.
Think how many cutscene skips we could skip, or cutscenes we could skip instead of using rekindles. Just frog.
Just use frog everywhere.
Oh my god. What are we doing? What's going on right now? What's the video game happening on the screen?
Oh, well, TheStimon just did a save anywhere there to skip a nice cutscene. Still progressing very nicely. While Pixel is going in for the swamp entry. Hopefully, you know, not seeing any issues like we saw before with TheStimon. But usually, I'm assuming Pixel's going to be doing this on the controller, and you don't go for any, you know, double bashes. Usually carry the frog all the way through.
Yeah, and using this controller setup, there's only... Wow, okay. No, he's going for...
Okay.
Oh, this is a great setup. I love this. He's going for the Uncle Ronnie style. Take a look on his side, but also put one eye on TheStimon's side as he's going for fast stompless. Great execution on both sides. TheStimon gets the shot. Pixel gets the shot. That is super nice.
That was beautiful.
That's so nice. Pixel using the shot from the frog from a distance, grabbing it right next to the ground with the cell, and then dashing to the right to grab it after bashing it. That's a really cool setup, Zeg, and very difficult to pull off.
I was going to say, that looks very difficult to pull off.
I've actually tried to learn that and incorporate it in runs, and I dropped it because I thought it was too challenging. So Pixel showing me up as TheStimon is coming into Sara Bash, Zeg.
So we're going to see if TheStimon can get this in one attempt here, but with the way he's been playing, I have no doubts.
brief moment of fear there as he looked like he might take an accidental dip into the spikes, but then he positions the bird perfectly and was able to enter with no problems. And now he's going to do a clinic on Sorrow Pass, and just, wow, this play by TheStimon is very impressive right now.
Yeah. You know, sometimes in that scenario, I think he just, he didn't like the way that bird was positioned. And, sometimes it's better to just take a step back and reposition that bird than take a death off a bad setup.
Yeah, and that's a luxury that he has because of the strat that he does there, which is a pretty common strat for KBM runners to do the double bash setup. But if you do the more difficult controller setup with 2 charge dashes, you don't have the luxury of doing that. As we saw that yesterday in the race between Hobbs and Fant. It's a very difficult strat that you don't have the luxury of taking advantage of that. And Pixxel pulling off a first try Kuro cutscene skip as well, so that's really nice. Hopefully will make Pixxel just feel a little bit more confident he's going through the second half of the game here.
Right, also carrying that spider shot in to get that health cell a little bit faster is also very nice.
Yeah, that's really clever, and probably, again, a bit of a vanilla strat, as, again, you don't have dash in vanilla, so, you're moving a lot slower, and you're probably a lot closer to that shot. But I really love seeing these strats from Pixxel.
TheStimon is about to get the Sunstone here, and we'll remove the ability tree from the screen so we can all see what's going on again.
All right, and TheStimon is leaving Sorrow Pass now. He is no longer sorrowful. He has collected his Sunstone. Everything is soul for him all day and all night, SOL. But now he'll be heading towards Misty Woods, and we'll be picking up some keystones and doing some movement, and you're going to see a whole lot of really impressive stuff from him. Some of those stomp cancels, some charge dashes canceled by bashes and stomps, some bashing a projectile directly above those spikes, which if done incorrectly can deal 3 damage to you. And TheStimon's only got 4 health.
It's always impressive watching Misty Woods and the way it's done, and TheStimon is just making it look so easy.
Meanwhile, Pixxel is entering Valley and does a nice little bash off that frog. I love that strat. Always a cool little thing to see. I believe Covert Muffin, the originator of that strat. And we will be seeing him, whether or not he decides to go for Fast Stompless here. I'm not sure whether he has in the tournament yet, but we'll find out what he feels like doing in this particular race.
So yet again, Pixxel is utilizing his frog ability.
Skill, Zick. It's a skill, not an ability.
I'm sorry, you're right. Is going for the Fast Stompless here, though.
The shot looked possibly good, so he's going to get to the cell, and there's the teleport.
Nice.
Yeah, very nicely done by Pixxel. His previous rate was 25%, as we showed on the overlay there, so able to pull that off first try, which is going to, again, almost certainly feel pretty good for him. He's pretty much insurmountably behind TheStimon, but at least he can pull off a good performance the rest of the way and feel good about that and take that into potentially his PB attempts after the tournament.
Right, he's definitely been playing, very well from this point on, so, hopefully if there were any nerves or he was shaken up at all, that's out of his way now. Just moving forward with confidence.
Speaking of moving forward with confidence, TheStimon is all confidence right now. He has dropped a few safety saves, but his movement is otherwise basically what you would see in a PB attempt. He's not cutting any corners here at all.
Now remember, both these opponents aren't watching where their opponent is, so, while Pixxel may have an idea that he's behind, TheStimon might, I'm sure he's feeling very confident, though, in how the run has been going, but does still have no idea what kind of a lead he has.
Yeah, I mean, with the difference between their PBs, TheStimon has to assume that this race is very winnable.
Right.
And that's not at all disrespectful to his opponent. That's just reality. 5 minutes is a really tough window to overcome, and TheStimon's been playing very well.
Very well. Pixxel having a bit of trouble here on the Sorrow Bash. These birds are just not cooperating.
Yeah, this is one of the most difficult aspects of learning this run. Like, you could certainly tell us from recent experience, these two birds, it's difficult to get them to go exactly directions you want, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, there's also, you know, things like if you're playing on controller, you know, you can accidentally, you know, throw a stomp input or just go the wrong way and just mess up everything with these birds.
Good lord, Stimon barely dodging that laser on the way into this old-fashioned father cutscene skip, but he does survive. Pixxel took 4 damage from the spikes on the way in, so he did get his Sorrow Bash, but is now on 1 HP. I don't know that I've seen a safety save here. He's just navigating the spike cave without fear, Zik.
Ooh,
wow.
That can be terrifying to do.
Terrifying to do? No, wait, wrong.
Oh,
wrong
no. A little late.
Alright, I tried.
So
Just like that, it's like we're almost done here. Stimon's at the end, basically.
yeah, he's been making this just very clean play, just really making short work of this game. It's really, really been an impressive run on his part.
He's also really close behind his PB, actually. He's saved, apparently, a lot of time in this late game. He's, as of Grenade, 16 seconds behind PB, where earlier it was 1 minute. That's insane. And, I mean, for Pixxel, like, if a player like Stimon is going to play close to his PB, it's over for you,
right?
Unfortunately. But that's absolutely impressive as heck. And, turning on his UI real quick here to just check on how much energy he can afford to throw away here, but some very nice movement on the way to Mount Horror. This is definitely possibly high 30 or low 31 pace for him.
Absolutely. And Stimon, you know, while Pixxel said that he was not going to watch his splits, his time, any of that, you know, Stimon is aware of his time, so I'm sure he's very aware that the pace he's on. And getting the first try door warp, that just makes this even better for him.
Well, here we go. It's the final escape for Stimon now, and if he's able to execute really well, he was plus 9 seconds on his PB at Mount Horror, so maybe it's within reach. It seems like it should be really hard, but I don't know what his PB his PB final escape was like, so we'll see. All he really needs to focus on, though, is just execute well and do the best he can. So far, so good with some really nice execution, stomping cleanly through that barrier, which is actually not what you want most of the time, but he manages to prevent himself from getting eaten by fire. And here we go with the 5 HP swim. He took the 3 damage early, but he dies.
Oh no! Oh, that's tragic.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is going to put PB definitely out of reach for him if it wasn't already, but yeah, that swim is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Even with 6 HP, it's possible to die, but with 5 HP, it's pretty easy to die.
Yeah, things have to go very perfect throughout that swim for you to survive that with 5. We'll see as he goes for a second attempt here.
Yeah, that one's clean. He is out. Just needs to charge it up onto this wall, set up his grenade jump. He can still pull off a mid-31. So here we go. He aims his grenade jump. Not quite good on the first attempt, but it's a frame-perfect input, so that's not that big a deal. Just needs to get them once, and there it is.
And there it is.
Would you call that first try?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll call it first try.
All right, first try. Sounds good. That was the thirdest first try I've ever seen. All right, Stimon will be finishing up soon, but now we've got Pixxel working his way through Misty, and he actually has been, again, he has been playing pretty solidly. He didn't quite like that jump there. Was a little worried he was going to eat a laser, but just turns back, and otherwise, you know, his play's been good since some of the early slop. He was able to recover and play pretty quality play the rest of the way.
Yeah, you can definitely see some, you can see that controller bashing at work. Sometimes, you know, aiming with the controller and bash can be difficult at points. And you also have the risk of, you know, trash bashing off a neutral input and going into a spike wall.
Yeah, actually, I think he just trash bashed there. You allude to that. It's basically an error where you release the analog stick as you're bashing, which is a speed technique, actually, because if you release the directional input, then you keep the speed from the bash. But it looked like it changed the angle slightly as the analog stick snapped into a neutral position. So that's kind of an annoyance that KBM doesn't really have to deal with. It is, I think it's nice to have bash angles that are just based on aiming your analog stick, but it just takes a different kind of getting used to compared to just putting your mouse in a specific spot on the screen.
So Pixxel making his way out of Misty Woods here. Still very clean play. Nice movement here. We go get the grenade and finish up the game.
Which Stimon has just done a few moments ago with a 31-42. So GG to him, but we'll focus on Pixxel until he is able to finish up. And he just has one skill to go and then the final escape. So really not that bad of a run for Pixxel considering the, you know, the PB and skill difference. Like
Right.
He's not severely underperforming or anything.
Absolutely. And, you know, Stimon, you know, at the beginning did state that he wanted to get, you know, around the sub-33 race time. So definitely met that goal. It's a big improvement, you know, over the average race time we saw at the beginning.
Yeah, that's got to be a really big confidence boost for Stimon going into his future matches. And as for Pixxel, hopefully just being able to recover from that early mistake. And I mean, it was a rough one. Like, that's the worst possible thing that can happen off of that dash cutscene stack. But being able to turn that around and say, okay, I'm going to play smoothly the rest of the way as much as I can, like whatever's within my skill level. And hopefully that will give him some increased confidence as he goes back to PB attempts and hopefully continues playing the game.
Absolutely. As you said, I mean, that's not something that any runner sits down and says, you know what, I'm going to practice this in case it happens. So the fact that, you know, he was able to turn that around how he did and keep moving forward is remarkable.
Yeah, and races are really a very special beast compared to PB attempts. There's very little similarity between the two, as we're seeing Pixxel go for some grenade jumps back. These are pretty difficult, in my opinion. They feel a lot harder to do on controller than keyboard, with the buttons being the left bumper and A, and you have to press them one frame apart. I find that like nearly impossible. I don't know about you, Zach.
I agree. It's very difficult on controller.
But Pixxel opting to bail out of that. He just wanted to show off some swag, but it's not a huge deal. He'll just continue along his way, trying to you know, please the fans a little bit. And he's now making his way up to the portal. Will pick up his health cell, will stomp back down accidentally, take some damage from the spikes, but it doesn't matter because he gets this health cell, which gives him a full refill. And now we're teleporting towards Mount Horu.
It's just a very fancy way to get that health cell.
Yeah, you know, showing off for the fans.
Exactly.
Well, as we're finishing up this Mount Horu segment, you know, I'm just thinking about all the different movement that you get to see from different runners. And here you're seeing Pixxel, like, you saw Stimon go through this area and you saw how fast he played it. But as you see Pixxel going through it, you know, just you can see the beginnings of like he's incorporating some of those very fast strats. Not all of them yet, but you see where he's getting, you know, those charge dashes in there, doing some of those stomp cancels. And you also see that he's skipping the 6th HP, so he's going to go swimming with 5.
Right, and that is an interesting decision to make, but a dangerous one, but one that will save a few seconds of time coming to the end here.
Yeah, and that's actually just a controller confidence thing. It's kind of funny. One of the few advantages of controller, as we alluded to earlier on, is swimming is much better because you're on analog stick. And look at that first try door warp as well. Nicely done. But
Makes
apparently,
it look like it's nothing.
Yeah, he really does. But apparently for some runners, you know, for Pixxel, for Grimelios, a couple other controller runners, they just consider the swimming to be easy enough that, like, I don't need that 6th HP, I'm fine.
So we'll see how the movement here is in Horu, but I have no doubts that Pixxel will make short work of this.
Yeah, again, you're seeing some of those stomp cancels, so that's really cool to see. He does not beat out that lava pillar cycle, but that's alright. He just waits real quick and then gets through. I like the wall charge jump there. That's a really cool little strat.
Definitely really cool.
You just need to make sure he does not take any damage prior to the water. Those fish positions look fantastic. And he is able to make it out of the water with that OP controller swimming.
Just going here for the last grenade jump, see if we can get the, first third try.
Well, we're on our way. Oh, he got stuck at the weird position at the top there, but now he's good. And, he didn't get the first try. But he's going to keep going. He has so much energy he can try as long as he wants. It does eat into some of the potential time save here, but that's all right. He wants to finish up in style, and there is no blaming him for that.
A little failed one there, but still in this, and there he goes. Very nice.
Beautiful finish for Pixxel, and he will come in just shy of 39 minutes. Certainly, he was looking for a little bit better, but I really like the resilience to come back and continue with a solid performance after that really rough time that he had in BRB. I can't overstate how difficult that is to deal with mentally as an Ori speedrunner.
Absolutely, and I know at least personally, the beginning part of a race can always be some of the most stressful. You're still kind of getting over your nerves starting out. So it's very props to him for moving past that and really pushing through the end of the run.
Yep, and so he'll finish up with a 38-53. GG to Pixxel. Unfortunately, his tournament life will come to an end as he is eliminated from the tournament with the loss to TheStimon. TheStimon will be continuing on to face once again his, not once again, to face for the first time, Cheese Lover. I gotta get my brackets straight here. But bringing on yet another one of those clashes of the Titans there.
Hello. Hello, guys.
Oh, hey.
And we are joined here by our Victor TheStimon. TheStimon, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
But GG to you on that victory there. Obviously a very convincing margin of victory. But also, you achieved your goal of a sub 33, and you pulled off a very strong performance. How do you feel overall about your race?
Actually, I'm feeling really great, and I'm really proud of this run. Actually, I haven't been able to pull out the 31 since in ages, so I'm really happy, and that's the momentum going up for me, and I can start the war machine and just go roll over everyone else now.
Excellent. So, all right, I have to ask, what were your thoughts on the when you were doing your swamp entry, having 5 shots phase through the platform?
I didn't count them, but I was like, damn. It was, I mean, I wasn't that stressed because I knew I was probably ahead, but then, yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, that's the word for it. All right, we are also joined by Pixxel. Pixxel, GG on your tournament run. Unfortunately, coming to an end here, but I'm really impressed by the way you recovered after the problems you had with the dash cutscene stack. Just tell us how you felt at that time and how you felt as you continued the race.
All right, well, first of all, thanks for the GG, and yeah, I was pretty much sure that that it would end here, but yeah, I had fun nonetheless. And yeah, about that cutscene stack, I felt like, oh my god, what do I do now? I usually reset at this point. What do I do? How do I recover? I have no idea. And then I just died a million times and eventually made my way out. But yeah.
I do have to ask, do you ever plan to do that cutscene stack in a run again?
Yes, actually, but I will.
Nice.
I will practice it a lot.
Yeah, that was definitely something we didn't expect to see, but you did good pushing through it. It's not something you go to practice, you know.
Yeah, it's just some blind movement and a what's it called? And a dash glide. What could possibly go wrong?
Right. So Simon, do you have next question for you? I guess is what are your plans for your match with Cheese Lover? Do you have anything you're going to be practicing? Anything you think you need to work
yeah,
on?
of course. I gotta practice early game because that's my main problem right now. And if I can get that right, I'm pretty sure I can get the win. But like I have to keep my late game consistent and then just pull out a great early game. And I think it's going to be a nice fight.
Yeah, Cheese is a terrifying opponent, but now, you know, showing that you're able to get a 31 in a race situation, you've got to also, you know, be putting some fear into his mind as well. So that will be something to
hope.
watch.
I hope. And 31 with that bad of an early game, that's I was surprised. I was surprised myself. So, but yeah, watch for it because it's gonna be good.
All right, and Pixel will throw one more to you because, of course, you know, your tournament is coming to an end, but obviously that does not necessarily have to mean you stop playing Ori. So what are your plans with Ori going forward? Are you going to continue trying to grind all skills, or are you going to move on to other categories or maybe other games, or, you know, screw it all, quitting speedrunning?
No, I will keep at it. I'm for the next couple weeks. I think I'm just gonna stick to all skills, and after that, probably I'm gonna start running ACNR as well, because
Oh, wow.
yeah, GJ got me into it.
Oh, of
And
course he did. I got to ask because, you know, you're a hybrid player, primarily controller. Would you be planning to continue to try to do hybrid for that, or are you going to try to switch to KBM?
I'm not sure how much of a difference it actually makes. I figure it's a lot of difference, and I don't know. I feel like Ori is always like more a controller game for me than a keyboard and mouse game. So I'm probably gonna stick to hybrid.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, best of luck with that, and best of luck with, of course, your all skills improvement as you go for that. Stimon,
Thank you.
GG on the victory, dude, and best of luck against Cheese. I really am looking forward to that match.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, well, we are going to wrap up for this race, and we are going to move on to the next one. What do we have next?
Our next match will be with Raziel against Mr. Randomson, and that should be a really good match. I'm really excited for that one.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that will be pretty interesting to watch. So stick around. It's gonna continue being right here. We are on this channel, Speed Gaming 2, the entirety of the day. Basically, we've still got more matches for you. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back in about 10 minutes with that match. But Zik, I would normally sign off by like, oh, it's been a pleasure commentating to you, but we're gonna do it again. So hey.
I'll see you soon.